into it. And a buyer shows up and somebody sells straight into it, and a buyer shows up and somebody sells straight into it, and a buyer shows up and somebody... that doesn't go anywhere with all that buying. And therefore, where does that selling come from? If it's not on the book, if it's not anywhere to be seen, it's hidden, right? It's hidden. So what happens generally is you get the unwind through that phase there. And that might be now a hidden selling process that causes the market to sell off at that stage. But it might be part of that strategy number 3. If we start seeing big volume in this candle, big volume in this candle, then that's going to be a big commercial buy strategy that we'll recognize it from value. That's the main thing that we'll get from this. We'll recognize it from value. So it's called hidden selling because it is actually hidden selling. Volume guys do a different strategy for hidden selling, and I can't actually remember what they call hidden selling. I'll look it up quickly to see what the volume guys call hidden selling, guys. I think they call hidden. Just looking at sorry guys. Just looking at what they call hidden selling, it looks as if it's basically just a large candle that pins. So they call hidden selling an up thrust candle or a down thrust candle. I knew they had some word for it, but it's a high volume up thrust candle or a high volume down thrust candle. And that's what they call hidden buying, hidden buying or selling. But it's obviously not that hidden if there's a big volume stuck on it. Do you know what I mean? But that's what they call hidden buying or hidden selling. Let me show you a couple of examples from whatever chart comes up next. It's the pound US dollar. I'll look at that on a 30-minute chart for argument's sake. And so what they call hidden buying or selling is a big upthrust candle that has a reversal on the next candle. So for example, they would call this hidden selling, this candle here. You can see that there's a very large pin attached to it, another very large pin attached to it. So that's hidden selling up here. And it drops, so that's, well, fair enough. Yeah, of course it drops. But you can see into the bottom edge here. I mean, this, if I draw a line across there, see all these pins? Pin here, pin here, pin here, pin here, pin here. There's a lot of pins in there. So you can see that that's got to have some sort of hidden buying that's buying all of those pins in that area, and the price rallies. So if you can identify consecutive pins in areas, that's suggesting that there's hidden selling. Now, why is it hidden selling? Because it's not pushing the price down. It's just absorbing the buyers. It's just absorbing the sellers. It's hidden from view because it's not crossing the spreads. So when you start drilling down into lower time frames and you start trying to identify hidden areas on your charts, all you're looking at is being able to find pins that overlap each other at certain prices, especially at highs and lows. But you can see, for example, there's a series of pins here that seem to be very, very obviously a bottom edge here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 pins in a row there, and then the price breaks higher. So that's hidden buying, isn't it? It's not buying because it didn't drive the price up during those pins. It's just hidden buying because it's absorbing the selling at those prices, and then it drives the price up. So it's that identification of a hidden pin or something like that, or whatever. They would have probably called this a hidden seller up here, because it's a very large pin candle and incredibly large volume. So that would have been a hidden seller in that candle, and the price then sells away from that candle. Yeah. So when you're looking at hidden buyers and sellers, that's pretty much In terms of the order flow and the structure, that's pretty much it. So 2 pins are a far better signal. So you can see, for example, here, there's a lot of hidden buying going on in that area. There's a pin rejection, a pin rejection, and a pin rejection. And then the price drives up. So that's pretty good. You can see there's hidden sellers coming at this price area here. There's 2 pins to the top edge, and then the price starts to sell off a little bit. Not by much, but it starts to sell off a little bit. We'll cover it again if anybody's interested in it from a technical study point of view this afternoon in classroom. It is something we've talked about before, is recognizing pins, for example. But you know, at the end of the day, you should still be able to see it from simple volumes. It doesn't matter whether it's a pin. It doesn't need to be a pin, does it? It could be a red candle followed by a green candle. It doesn't need to be a pin itself. But it's something we can look at, yeah, absolutely. So if I said to you guys, what